Hi, my name is Bob Brennaman. I'm a realtor in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, and today we're going to take you on a tour of Mount Pleasant. Get in the car, y'all. We're leaving Memorial Park and we're going to head down Holman Parkway. Holman Parkway connects Memorial Park with Patriots Point, which houses the Patriots Point Museum, Yorktown, College of Charleston baseball and soccer fields, as well as a golf course and a pretty nice hotel if you're ever in coming to Mount Pleasant and want to stay at a good spot to base from. The Charleston Harbor Resort is a great place to base. So guys, we're on Coleman Boulevard right now. The town of Mount Pleasant is spending millions of dollars on redeveloping this corridor. They're going to put in pocket parks, bike trails, and they're really going to encourage people to slow down and to get out and walk. From here, we're heading up Coleman Boulevard. We're going to go over the famed Shem Creek. To our left and to our right, obviously, is Shem Creek. Lots of restaurants. Not honestly the best restaurants in Charleston, but great places to go hang out and watch the sunset. Lots of fun things to do during the summer. But again, probably the only place that I would recommend on Shem Creek would be Vickery's. Really good Cuban-American food. From here, we're going to head into the Old Village. The Old Village is where Mount Pleasant actually was founded. It all started here. We're turning on to Pitt Street. Pitt Street predates the Revolutionary War. This street right here was used for the movie The Notebook. It's got an old school soda fountain in the drugstore, which is something you don't see a whole lot of places. To our right is the Village Bakery, which is a great place to go have soup and get a sandwich. And as you can see, as we'll make our way down Pitt Street, a lot of beautiful houses. To our right is the harbor, so we're about a block off the harbor, and this is one of people's favorite places to live in Mount Pleasant. It's one of the more prestigious places to live, one of the more expensive places to live, the closer you are to the water, obviously. And we're on Middle Street now, which is one street off of Pitt, and we're heading towards Alhambra Hall. Alhambra Hall will be up here on our right, and it's where Mount Pleasant was founded. Mount Pleasant was originally a dance hall. Back in, I guess, the 16 or 1700s, people would be ferry boated across on the weekends, and they would come to Alhambra Hall here to our right and dance. So Mount Pleasant kind of got its start that way. And as you see, as we'll wrap around here, Alhambra Hall has a great view of downtown Charleston and out the Charleston Harbor. And they have all kinds of festivals and whatnot here during the course of the year. They have weddings, and it's all public land. So it's if you live here in Mount Pleasant or in Charleston, you can come here anytime you want to. All right, from here, we're back on Pitt Street, y'all, and we're heading out to the Pitt Street Bridge, which used to connect Mount Pleasant and Sullivans Island. At one time, it was a barrel bridge, which I mean by barrel, it was actually barrels that connected together, and that was probably back in the 1700s. At one time, they had a trolley car that would run through here. That was back during World War I and World War II. I guess for probably about the last 35 or 40 years, it's been a park, and people come out here and hang out, check out Charleston. You can go fishing at the end of the pier. You can see the spans of the bridges, and obviously you can see the church steeples to downtown Charleston. And Charleston is known as the Holy City because of all the churches. All right, y'all, we're leaving the Old Village and we're heading out to Sullivans Island. One of the great things about living in Mount Pleasant is its location to the beaches. Sullivans Island, and to our left, we'll ride down to Isle of Palms here in a few minutes, but you've got great spots to go to the beach, to just enjoy the lifestyle of living here in Charleston, and particularly in Mount Pleasant. And we're getting ready to head over the Ben Sawyer Bridge. The Ben Sawyer Bridge was just replaced, and you'll probably see some barrels and stuff, construction barrels where they replaced the bridge. What they did was they took almost an exact replica of the bridge that was built in probably the 40s and replaced it with a brand new bridge that we're riding over right now. Underneath us, to our right and our left, is the Intercoastal Waterway that runs, I think, from deep in Florida all the way up to Maine, I believe, and I may be incorrect in that, I don't know. But from here, we're heading straight out to Sullivans Island, so I don't know, probably a half a mile directly in front of us is the ocean. We're not going to do it today for the sake of time, but Sullivans Island has a very cool business district. They've got some restaurants and bars and places to hang out. Poe's Tavern is a really good place to have a burger. Actually, Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Gold Bug while he was stationed out on Sullivans Island during, I believe, World War I. So it has a lot of history out here, and definitely a place if you're in the 800,000 to $1 million range. It's a great place. It'd be a great place to be. And honestly, if I could live anywhere in Charleston and money was no object, I'd live on Sullivans Island. It's a bedroom community. There's not a whole lot of tourists out here. I mean, tourists come out here, but it's not a place where you're going to see a whole lot of beach rentals. They did away with that some time ago, so there's not that many beach rental licenses left. So it's a very relaxed place. We're getting ready to leave Sullivans Island and head over to Isle of Palms, so we're heading over what's called Breach Inlet. Breach Inlet is where they found the Hunley submarine, about 100 yards off the coast or 200 yards off the coast here. It was guarded by the Coast Guard for about 2.5 years while they decided who owned it. The water looks fairly placid at some times, but there are numerous accounts during the Revolutionary War of British troops drowning trying to cross this span of water to get to the American troops. So it's a very treacherous spot of water. Not a place you'd want to swim, but once you get to the beach on the other side, you're fine. Boathouse Restaurant to our left is one of my favorite places to eat. Great place to watch the sunset, and just a cool place to kind of take in Isle of Palms. A little bit about Isle of Palms. Wild Dunes Resort is at the tip of Isle of Palms. There's a couple of golf courses. Got really pretty beaches. Isle of Palms wins all kinds of awards for sand clarity and cleanliness. So it's a very good beach, and it's kind of a tour in itself. So we won't do that today. Since we're talking about Mount Pleasant, we're going to head back into Mount Pleasant, and we're going to look at a little bit of a couple subdivisions, and then we're going to head back into towards the foot of the bridge. To give you a little perspective, back over to our left are the spans of the bridge to downtown Charleston, which is actually where we started this whole thing, was at the foot of that bridge. And then underneath us again, Intercoastal Waterway. To our right is Goat Island. And this bridge was built, I guess, about when I moved to Charleston. They had it about halfway done. So it's been here probably about 17 or 18 years, and a lot of the residents fought it, but it's really made a difference as far as property values go. We're coming back into what I consider to be North Mount Pleasant. Over to our left, you probably can see some apartments and condos, and we'll get up here a little bit further, and it's a very good example of what Mount Pleasant's commercial is like. It's all tucked back behind a row of trees. If you've ever been to Hilton Head, it's very similar zoning laws in Mount Pleasant. So, I mean, you've got a restaurant, a grocery store, up here you've got a Target, all kinds of shops and restaurants. So it's really, again, if you're in Mount Pleasant and you're driving around, a lot of times you'll think, gosh, where is everything? And it's usually cut back behind a row of trees. Mount Pleasant has more grocery stores per capita than any place in the United States. So there's just a ton of shopping, tons of things to do in Mount Pleasant. We're on Rifle Range Road, which runs parallel to the coast. So to our immediate right is Isle of Palms, and to our left is Highway 17, which is the main drag in Mount Pleasant. What we're going to do today is we're going to dip into a couple of neighborhoods. I mean, there's so many neighborhoods in Mount Pleasant, but I just decided to pick a couple of them. This one being Hamlin Plantation, and I believe you can get more information on Hamlin Plantation if you're on my website. There's a video of the whole neighborhood that shows it and talks more about it in detail. But Hamlin Plantation, as we get back here, you will see it's a planned community. It has swimming pool. It has walking trails, has a very nice amenities center. And it has homes that I would consider to be, a lot of them are neoclassical homes, which if you don't know what neoclassical means, it's basically a house that's made to look like it was built, 100 years ago. And here to our right, you can see the amenity center through the trees, that big white building. They have a giant swimming pool with a water slide, workout facilities, tennis courts and stuff like that. So it's very popular neighborhood. I take people back here a lot, and they tend to like it. And again, walking trails, very pet friendly. And we're in the subsection in Hamlin called the Sound. The reason it's called the Sound is because it is actually on Hamlin Sound. These are what you would call a low country style house. It's a raised house. where you would park underneath it. And you know, a lot of people ask me sometimes, is it because it's in a flood zone? Yes, it is, but a lot of times it's built up for architectural reasons, because a lot of these houses don't need to be built up that high, but they'll build them up that high to allow you to park under it. If you like this style of house, there's tons of houses in Mount Pleasant that fit into this parameter. All right, y'all, so we're back out on Highway 17, and to our right is Oakland Plantation. Oakland Plantation is a giant shopping center, super Walmart, Kohl's, lots of restaurants. One of my favorite fast food places, even though I don't eat a whole lot of fast food, is a Chick-fil-A. If you're not from the South or you don't live in a place that has a Chick-fil-A and you come to Charleston, try Chick-fil-A. Very good food and a stand-up company. But Highway 17, as we progress through here, is in the process of having about $170+ million spent on it to widen it to 3 lanes. They're going to create some flyovers, which will create less drag on traffic. We're heading into another planned community in Mount Pleasant. It's called Park West. It is really, it's self-contained. There's a grocery store, there's a Publix, you've got workout facilities, restaurants and shops, and you know, homes ranging anywhere from the low 2s all the way up to probably about $5 million, just depending on where you are, what subsection of Park West you're in. And one of the other things that's important that people like about Park West is that you have a grade school and a middle school back here. Pinckney and I believe Cario Middle School are back here inside of Park West. So kids can ride their bikes to school, and you know, makes the commute to school a lot shorter, and you don't have to get in a whole lot of traffic. And it's also tied into, over here to our right, it's tied into Wando High School. Wando High School is, according to what I've been told, is one of the top 15 public high schools in the United States. So when you think about Mount Pleasant, one of the questions I get asked all the time is about schools, and Mount Pleasant schools are some of the best in the state for sure. I recommend you go to greatschools.net and use that as a place that's been around forever, and it's really a non-biased place to get evaluations of schools, but very important. Also coming up here on our left, something else I think is very important to people is Mount Pleasant is very much devoted to parks and recreations. This is one of 12 athletic or recreational fields and facilities in Mount Pleasant. There's a heated pool that you can actually use during the winter. So Mount Pleasant spends a lot of money on having green space. It's a very important aspect of living in Mount Pleasant. All right, y'all, so we're back inside of Park West. This is just an area that there's some townhomes that are alley fed, which means you park behind them. And then we're going to go back in here into one of the neighborhoods just to kind of look at some of the houses. Again, you'll probably see similar architecture to what we saw in Hamlin. It's just the low country style house is, you know, for the most part is a raised house off the ground. Park West they have a crabbing dock back here in this neighborhood, so you can get back and access the water. Again, we're very close to the Wando River. Lots of things to do here in Mount Pleasant. Park West is probably about 25 minutes to downtown Charleston. So, you know, to me that's a long ways. But if you've never lived here before, then 25 minutes is probably not that long. We are back in what I would say would be South Mount Pleasant, which is closer to the bridge in downtown Charleston. Through the trees, you can see East Cooper Medical Center, which is one of 2 brand new hospitals in Mount Pleasant. One of the drawing cards, one of the many drawing cards of this area, I believe, is the medical facilities. You've got the Medical University of South Carolina in downtown Charleston. You've got Roper out in North Mount Pleasant, and you've got East Cooper Hospital right there. So great medical facilities. All right, y'all, we're continuing to head down back towards the bridge of Mount Pleasant and toward downtown Charleston, but we're going to head into one of my favorite neighborhoods. It's called Ion. And it's named after Robert Jacob Bond Ion. A very long name, I know, but he was a Civil War general, or rather a Revolutionary War general, and a farmer at one time, and all this was his land, and they kind of named it after him. But Ion it's a self-contained community. It's neoclassical. I mean, this set of houses to our left are made to look like Rainbow Row in downtown Charleston. Narrow streets, smaller lots. And, you know, Ion is not for every single person that comes back here, but a lot of people like it. It's proximity to downtown Charleston is one of the reasons. It's less than 10 minutes you can be in a good restaurant in downtown Charleston. Also, it's a great spot to get to the beaches from here, and you're in a good school district. To our left is something you don't see a whole lot in the neighborhood, and that is an Orthodox church, which is really oddly placed, but it's been there, it has only been there about 3 or 4 years, and I understand it to be a Russian Orthodox church because it doesn't have pews in it, and I was told by some people that were Orthodox that Russian Orthodox churches were poor and they didn't have pews. It's really, honestly, this is the cool neighborhood if you ever want to just walk a neighborhood at night. It's a very cool neighborhood to walk. Ion is known for its 2 lakes. Directly in front of us, I believe, is East Lake, and on the other side of that is West Lake. They have an amphitheater, and obviously you can see the homes overlook the lake on this side, and as we head through here, you can see the, just gorgeous oak trees. Again, people really, Ion's a place where people either love it or they want me to get them out of here because they feel like it's too tight. But I personally think, architecturally speaking, it's one of the prettier neighborhoods in certainly in Charleston, and one of the prettier neighborhoods I've been in the United States. We're going to head over to the next lake, and I just wanted to show you guys the little canals that connect it because I think it's kind of cool and kind of European. And again, out there is a swimming platform, so when the weather's right, people go out there and swim. Ion also has a marina, more or less a place where you can launch your boat, and has a tennis club that's also back here that you can join if you want to. Again, my name is Bob Brennaman, and I have been a resident of Mount Pleasant for 20 years. Today's video really just a kind of a snapshot of what is here. If you have questions about anything, whether it be schools, restaurants, neighborhoods, please feel free to give me a call at 843-345-6074, or you can visit me on the web at mountpleasantproperty.net. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye.